Ben,
Pleasure to have you on the show.
thank you.
So,
Pleasure to be here.
first things first, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Shane Michelon. I started a real estate consultancy firm in New Orleans when I was 19. I've been growing that ever
How
since.
old are you now?
I'm 22 now.
Okay.
I've been growing that for a few years. I recently invested into a events company in New Orleans and New York also. We're working on a couple big tours across America with a couple different artists. And yeah, I'm just kind of trying to grow the portfolio of projects out and keep at work.
Okay, so walk me through a typical day. What does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day is a lot. It's right now I'm in 18 and a half credits and I just invested in this new venture and it's also leasing season right now, which happens twice a year. So I'm busy. I spend about 7 hours a day on the phone.
Take me through, like, starting from wake up, like, take me through that.
It depends. I wake up either at 7 a.m. or at 11 a.m. Depending on the day. If I can wake up at 11, I'll wake up at 11. Most of the time it's around 8 or 9.
Okay.
Sometimes as early as 6 or 7. But then I'll take a couple phone calls, shower, shave, get the daily routine going. Always make your bed.
Of course.
Sometimes I forget, of course, but gotta stay on top of the good habits.
Of course.
I'll start off with at least 1 or 2 calls, structure my calendar for the day, see what I gotta do group meeting wise, reach out to my employees, make sure they're all on doing what they're supposed to be doing each day.
When you say calls, like, who are...
So these calls are always different, so they're normally meetings. Sometimes it's for marketing and events, and I have to talk with our in-house marketing team about targeted ads. Sometimes it's about ambassador program for events or ambassador programs for the real estate stuff. Sometimes it's landlords. Sometimes it's new projects, new developments, working on like a deal where I might buy into a bar. So I have a lot of calls with those people, design firms. There's a million different calls I'm on every single day. But someone told me when I was young in business to always take every call. So I've listened to them ever since. It's got me pretty far to this day at least.
So what is SOS Consultants?
SOS Consultants started as a way for students to have help with housing. So when I was looking for housing, I didn't have any resources to reach out to besides the school. And the school wasn't really that helpful. And once we got off campus, once they granted it to us sophomore year because they had an overcrowd in the dorms, we were screwed and we couldn't find a single place to live. We had to end up putting all of our trust into one landlord who kind of screwed us for a couple months. We had to live all around while people were abroad in different subletted houses, and it was a lot. And during that whole time, the landlord that kind of screwed us was saying, oh, he needed help with housing. Was it smart to go into business with the landlord that screwed you? Probably not, and I learned from that, but I still learned a ton of valuable lessons, and he was really, really, really helpful in helping me start my company, and he's an amazing guy to this day. I still keep in touch with him. I don't work with him specifically anymore, but I work with about a half dozen landlords here, and we're working on a deal in Indiana to work on like expansion and growing outside of New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're here, a tailored service to help students find housing for free, and we get paid by the landlords.
So what's your primary role?
I'm the chief executive officer for that company.
What
so
does that mean?
That just basically means everything. Like I am wherever I need to be, and it mainly revolves around marketing and sales. Majority of the company, generating leads is the marketing side, and then selling leases is the sales side. So those are probably 90% of what I do at SOS on a daily basis. But the chief executive officer is also checking with the other executives. Like I have a CFO who does all my taxes, works on all the company finances, breaks down any possible new project we're doing on the financial aspect. And I'm not the best with finances and numbers. I am good with numbers, but I don't have enough time to do all of that. So I hired on someone for that, and we have a CMO too who runs all of our marketing, and I kind of really take on the managerial role and the overlook role.
Can you walk me through the recruitment process?
So yeah, it's different on a day-to-day basis, or I guess year-to-year basis. Right now we work on just recruiting through ambassadors, so we have like a 40 to 50 person ambassador program at every single grade at the school, and through the best ambassador we kind of see, okay, which kids want to work, and they come to us, we don't even go to them. and they ask us for a position. So normally that's how it works. Do we take everyone that asks us for a position? No, but there are a couple good apples in the program, and that's what we pick from.
How did you start the ambassador program?
The ambassador program was honestly just out of thought. I was in a marketing class sophomore year, and they were talking about how consumer to consumer marketing was the number one way to market any product or service. And that just means like friend to friend, or if I'm eating an apple and I tell you, oh, I really like this apple, that's consumer to consumer marketing. So I was thinking, okay, what's the best way to have students buy houses? And I was like, from other students that they trust. This is what I thought at first. And so I started to push that consumer to consumer angle and thought of any and every possible angle to do it from. And I realized an ambassador program, which is someone on Instagram or on Facebook posting a picture on their story, another student seeing it and being like, oh, if this person trusts this housing company, you know, I'll trust them too, and clicks the link. Free. It's not like they're getting charged any money to click on it, to schedule a consult, to talk to us. It's all free for the students. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a model that I envisioned to work, and I worked really hard for it to actually come to fruition, and to this day it does really well. And a lot of companies use the same model. It's just not necessarily a lot of companies within real estate consultancy.
Okay. And what would you say are the most rewarding aspects of this position?
Most rewarding aspects. You got some great questions here, Ben. I would definitely say the problem solving and learning from the problem solving. There are a ton of different issues that arise all the time. I've been been sued multiple times. I've been named in lawsuits. Yeah. People get very, yeah. They something goes not their way and they get very upset, and you kind of learn to control your emotions. That was one I learned very early on. I got very upset when I lost a deal, and that ended up causing more problems for me being that upset. So
that's my worst enemy.
Yeah, me too. Well, it was my worst enemy until this. So yeah. I figured out how not to do that, and after you do it once, you know, not repeating your mistakes is very big in business, and it'll save you a lot of money. And if you can just learn and grow on your goals, and you know, not try to sway into areas where you don't know as much in, then you'll be A-okay.
What would you talked about that marketing class? What would you say was the greatest training that contributed to your development the most?
It's a great question. I mean, definitely not school. That was a very rare example. Yes, class. You are right. So I always tell people school is the growth of knowledge is always the most important. Like growing your brain and growing just any general knowledge in the way of life is by far and above the most key thing you can do to grow your own brain. And growing your brain means growing all these different ideologies and all these different cultures and understanding every single person for more than just the surface area. Mm-hmm. That's how you learn sales and personability, and that's the key to every industry. So it's like, yes, do I think school is most of the time a waste of time? Yes, it is. Yeah. Because some of the stuff you learn, you'll never need to apply. Like, when am I learning?
Dude, it's not even that. Like, they just go through class like time is endless.
Limitless. Yeah, and it's also, time, exactly. And it's like, teachers, there are certain good teachers that, you know, really care about what you learn, but some don't. And it's really just a trade-off. And I think that if you pay attention and learn in school, obviously you're going to benefit, and it's going to be a positive outlook on your life, not negative. It's going to have a positive impact, not outlook, on your life, not negative, but there are other ways to go about it, and the educational system definitely needs some fixing, but that's not what we're here to talk about. The best possible training and knowledge that I can get is just being around people and learning from other people. I would say I've learned the most in life from my dad and other mentors that have taught me. I've watched them like do business, and they've taught me business, and I've been, you know, in some type of business since I was 12 years old. I started selling sneakers, so it's like I've been around. I know how to work someone, how to sell someone. That's honestly one of my best strengths. Like, it's more the other stuff as a CEO, like, for example, public speaking. You can probably tell on this podcast I'm not the greatest public speaker, but that's something I'm learning and developing every single day. And it's these basic skills that, I may not be the best at one day, but as long as I have a good understanding, I'm good at the things I'm really good at the things I need to be good at, I'll be okay.
Sweet. That leads me right into my next question. What are the personality traits that have helped you be successful?
Like the best ones, personability. I would say organization is really big starting a company. You have to be somewhat organized. Like obviously, no CEO and no entrepreneur is very organized. It's not a common trait of an entrepreneur, but having like general organization, or at least hiring people that know how to organize, knowing how to hire people is very, very important. Building your team is everything. Your company is only as good as the team. But I'd really say like the biggest trait is personability and being able to sell yourself, because at the start of any company, you're only selling your company is you. So like you have to be able to prove to other people that you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing in order for them to use your product or your service.
So what is your vision for the future of SOS Consultants?
My vision for the future. I want to take over the world. I'm working on a big property management extension to the company. So right now we just do leasing. We want to get into property management, which is the other big, I guess you can say, sector of real estate on the ground side, not on the sales side. With the management and leasing, those are the two biggest factors that pay out, or a building pays out in every year. And I would say probably 4 to 10% of the building's revenue goes to management, and probably half that goes to leasing. And so I want to get into that second sector, and so I started SOS Consultants Midwest over the summer, where we partnered with a 1.3 billion AUM management firm out in Chicago who manage real estate across the Midwest, and we're basically the only company that's licensed to sell their management out to other firms. So we're going and trying to find them new buildings to manage, and while we're finding new buildings to manage and setting up meetings and different phone calls with for DMG, which is the company, we're also going to attach our leasing services to those buildings. So it's a win-win-win. They're getting new properties to manage they wouldn't have before. I'm getting new properties possibly to lease that I wouldn't have before, and I'm also getting paid on referring them to management. So it's all coming together a little bit. I'm looking to expand into other school markets too. I mean, my model clearly works very well. It does really work better in the high rent markets, so markets that cost a little more, like Tulane does. But with all that comes just money, and I'm waiting to just make a little bit more cash before I put all my eggs into one basket and work on expanding. Or I might raise the capital. We'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
So one of my final questions, what are your greatest challenges?
My age is up there. Having people take me seriously because I'm so young.
Yeah.
I'll find myself not shaving for a week before a big meeting. Yeah. But definitely age is a big. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes coming out of college with a degree in business and a couple LLCs looks good, but when you ask for a big task or to take on $100 million portfolio in real estate, sometimes that's when it's like, oh, do we trust this 23-year-old? So it hurts me more than it helps me, but I try to use it to my benefit as much as I can. But that's probably my biggest weakness. I mean, I have flaws. I'm not superhuman. I'm not God, but I've messed up hundreds of times. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars messing up, not hundreds, not millions. But I've learned, and more opportunities will arise the harder I work.